Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, GCW Code of the Streets review. This show happened on Saturday at Gillies in Dallas, Texas. Crime Wave happened on Sunday. I'll get that watched up and reviewed in a couple days. But we're going to run down Code of the Streets. First match was a Jersey's J Cup 2026 qualifying 7-way Scramble match. So the winner of this qualified for the Jersey J Cup next month. We had Oro, which is formerly known as Oral Mensa in NXT, taking on Aurora West, Bobby Flaco, Gavin Ash, Jimmy fucking Lloyd, Max Heights, and then Vengador. This was just, you had the high-flying guys doing their high-flying things. You had Jimmy Lloyd being the power guy. I mean, Oro did the step-up kick to Max Heights. Max was sitting on the top rope, and Oro did the step-up drop kick, whatever you want to call it, and knocked Heights to the floor. Jimmy throws Ash out of the ring, then does a big old dive. Big old boy Jimmy Lloyd's doing the dive. Whew. Max Heights jumped to the outside. I mean, these guys were just flying to the outside a little bit too much at times, but Oro jumped to the floor. Gavin Asher did a shooting star press to the outside. So you just had the high flying guys doing their dives. When they do their dives, especially at some of these GCW shows, if you didn't watch the show, they literally go into the crowd, like row 1, row 2, and you almost got to pick where the aisle is to do it so that we can go farther. But Oro ended up getting the victory here. And this match was like 8 minutes and 29 seconds. I ended up giving it 3.5. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that style of wrestling. So Oro getting the victory, moving on to the Jersey J Cup next month. Next up, we had Shotzi Blackheart taking on Emersyn Jayne. This was a very intriguing matchup. When Shotzi can be a little nuts a little bit sometimes, but Emersyn Jayne is a deathmatch wrestler. Jayne did this dive to the outside and literally landed on Shotzi, landed in the fan's lap. They end up fighting over to the bar, which is hilarious, fighting through the crowd to the bar. They're getting on the bar, they're freaking doing shots, and then of course one of the announcers brought up Cody Ugly, which is funny. Shotzi did a high cross body off the bar. And then Jayne does this, I don't know how, they end up fighting back to the ring. And Shotzi was standing against the ropes. Freaking Emersyn Jayne basically does a dive under her, grabs her, and German suplex under the ring. These two, I mean, they took it to one another. 13 minutes and 22 seconds. I give it 3.5 star of Shotzi Blackheart gets the victory there. Hella enjoyed this match a lot. These two are two of the top women on the independents, bar none. They can do any style of wrestling. So yeah, definitely a great match. Next up, we had Samuray del Sol, formerly known as Kalisto in WWE, taking on Gringo Loco. 18 minutes and 9 seconds of Lucha Libre. I could not write down the moves fast enough that these two dudes were doing. I mean, come on. They were doing dives outside the ring. MLJ was trying his best to call the name of them. Yeah, this is one of those matches for me, and I like Lucha Libre style. I just sat back and watched. Just took it all in, you know. Tope Lico here, this here. So, you know, boom, boom, boom. These guys just all over the place. And then the fact they're so much alike. I love when they do some big move and they basically, it's almost like gymnastics, best way that people can describe it. And they lean and look at one another. It's like, oh, cool, that was kind of cool, you know. But overall, it was a great match. I ended up giving it 3 3/4. 18 minutes of just Lucha Libre, yeah, okay. Anytime, any day. Throw a death match in there once in a while, too, and we're all good. Samuray del Sol got the victory there. I ended up giving, like I said, 3 3/4. Next up, we had Brick Savage taking on Thomas Shire. Thomas Shire wrestled a lot of tag matches in Europe, along with one called Manders. But yeah, Brick Savage, wow. This dude just meat slapping fest. These two guys were. They were trying to chop one another, both bigger guys. Brick bounced Shire out of the ring, literally. He did what Monty Brown used to do, the bounce thing. They would come across the ring, he'd run into him, and literally knocked him out of the ring. He did a freaking Brick did a sit-down drop to the floor. I mean, literally just sat down and dropped his ass on the floor. He did a clothesline, Brick did, on Shire, and they slow-moed it, and it hurt me watching it. It looked that hard. This match lasted 8 minutes 52 seconds. I give it 3-star with Brick Savage getting the victory. Next up, we had Mr. Double Duty himself, KJ Orso. Now, KJ Orso, earlier in the evening, appeared on TNA Genesis in the pre-show, and then he drove across Dallas to Gillies to be on the GCW show. So, what I find fascinating is this wasn't mentioned on the show that he had just wrestled at TNA. TNA didn't really mention anything about GCW. We'll talk about that in a minute. And somebody else that they brought up what he had done. But yeah, KJ Orso taking on Effy. This has been a long history of feud. Orso slipped at ring coming out. It was so funny. He comes out, he slipped at ringside, which he's people hate him anyway. And he slipped at ringside, grabbed some dude's hat, and wiped whatever he slipped on up. Then he drop kicked the hat. Very disrespectful. He ends up. Just reading some of the notes I wrote down here. And he goes after Effy to start the match. Effy ended up hitting the Zack Ryder off the top rope, which was kind of funny, and then Orso kicked out. I mean, it was just one of those matches where, like, there wasn't any big spots that stood out, but it was just a good back and forth. And the fact that these guys have so much history, and the fact that, if you remember KJ Orso prior to him taking off the mask, him and Effy were kind of friends to a point. Effy is friends with Sam Stackhouse, so it's like in Sam Stackhouse and KJ Orso had this blood feud. So there's still a lot of tension there, and so but KJ Orso ended up getting the victory, ended up giving it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we just had two monsters going at it, and literally it was a monsters match. Krule and Dimitri Alexandrov, 11 minutes and 25 seconds of two freaking beasts going at it. Dimitri 3 times, did the elbow like this to the face of Krule, and Krule just went, didn't even phase him. Krule had a clothesline on him. Krule, just put him through a door. They fought to the outside of the ring. Just massive beasts going at it. Krule ended up getting the victory. 11 minutes, 25 seconds. I gave it 2 3/4 star. Next up, the newest member of the All Elite Wrestling, Jordan Oliver. We found out at Limitless Rumble, which I'm going to watch today. MJF actually gave them the contract for Jordan Oliver and Alec Price to both be All Elite, and they talked about it on the show. I love that. Two guys that I've always wondered why is not part of the WID program. If you look at the WID program, they took some of the top indie guys, which is cool. Why weren't these two guys ID'd? I just never understood it. I've compared Jordan Oliver to a young Will Ospreay before. And it's like, why in the hell weren't him and Alec Price ever done anything with? Finally, they've done some stuff on Ring of Honor, and AEW's realized how good these two guys are. They have been ID'd. They have been offered AEW contracts, and they accepted with MJF. So yeah, can't wait to see Young, Dumb, and Broke in full-time in AEW, along with the Rascals. Love that. Hate it for Trey Miguel. Some douchebag on the internet causing problems for him. Definitely hate that for him. Hopefully he can get through that. I know people are complaining about what's above Tony Khan. Who's above Tony Khan? Well, the network is. So yeah. So whatever that was, I don't even know what that was that caused all that, but I've seen some doofus online comment about it. And dude has like 20 followers, so I blocked him. I don't want to even see his shit anymore. But anyway, moving on. Jordan Oliver versus Teriyaki. Teriyaki needs to be the next one picked up by someone. He is a hell of talented. Yaki did this moonsault to the outside that was just unbelievable. Oliver done this double knees into the corner. He did it a couple different times. He missed once. Yaki hit a Liger Bomb. Jordan did the double knees in the corner, then the Acid Bomb for the victory. 3 3/4 star, 13 minutes 24 seconds. I love the fact that Jordan Oliver passed it forward. So after this match was over, the microphone talked about being all elite, and then put over Teriyaki to somebody to sign him. As good as he is, basically told this dude, you're good, you're as good as I am. Your time is coming. I love that. But yeah, Jordan Oliver getting the victory there. Next up, we had the GCW World Title on the line. Champion Atticus Cogar taking on one called Manders. Yeah, we know there's still some issues with Effy and one called Manders. I do fully expect that to come to a head at some point soon. Cogar came out when the match started. He missed the chop. Did a senton out of the ring onto Manders. He gets the skewers out, goes to hit Manders with it and missed. Ended up sticking him in the turnbuckle. Ended up throwing Manders into the turnbuckle. They got into Manders. Manders hit a big power slam. Cogar threw a table on the outside. They had the old fancy chair battle. And then Manders ended up hitting Cogar with the chair. Cogar ended up going after Manders' knee. I guess he kind of tweaked his knee earlier. The chair was sitting in the ring, and Manders comes running down, and Cogar just kicks the chair at his knee. And then he starts going after his knee at that point. He hits him with another chair. He puts some more skewers into. He takes his boot off, hits him with the boot. Then he takes the skewers he had and sticks them in Manders' foot. That looks like it hurt like hell. Effy comes out, gets a door out to help Manders. This hasn't gone well in the past, and they helped each other and screwed each other, and they both screwed each other out of the title. Cogar does the brain hemorrhage. Manders through the door. Effy pulled the referee out, which the referee's out now. Which, when Manders went to pin Cogar, the referee wasn't in the ring. He calls for another referee to come out. The time that referee came out, Cogar kicked out. Cogar ended up winning the match. Manders was fucking pissed at Effy. Screamed at him, grabbed him. It's like, oh Lord, this is not good. These two guys were friends, and they're screwing one another right now, which is going to lead to one hell of a battle of one called Manders and Effy, which is fine with me, but I'd rather one of these guys be champion over Atticus Cogar. But you know, Vandal 48 runs wild in GCW. Luckily, Vandal 48 actually did not get involved in this match. The only outside interference was Effy. So, yeah, that's going to cause some issues. 17 minutes and 44 seconds. Atticus Cogar still your GCW World Heavyweight Champion. I gave it 3 3/4 star match. Next up, we had a women's match that I didn't realize lasted 13 minutes and 52 seconds. It seemed like it was way shorter than that. It was the Megasys Megan Bayne taking on Priscilla Kelly. Just a back and forth match. Nothing just over the top. Just the power of Megan Bayne is all it really was. I give it 2.5 star with Megan Bayne Megan Bayne winning. Next up, we had the GCW Ultraviolent title on the line in a death match. Yeah, we love those. Champion Matt Tremont taking on Otis Cogar. Now, Otis Cogar won in a more contender match. He could have a shot at any title he wanted. He chose, and normally it's a world title, but his brother, Atticus, part of Vandal 48, has the world title. So he chose the Ultraviolent title to go after Matt Tremont. Well, Matt Tremont came out loaded with a fork and just started forking the hell out of Otis. Gusset plates started popping out. Now, when they do a gusset plate in the arm, it's like, okay, cool. When they take 2 gusset plates and just shove them in your head, if you don't know what a gusset plate is, look at a new house being built. Look at the rafters. And you see those metal things up there that hold those rafters together? Those are called gusset plates. We decided to bring those into professional wrestling. So yeah, fun times. bunch of tubes. They had tubes sitting all over the place. Cogar took a bundle, about like this, and just smashed it over Tremont. Pulls out a door or a board with barbed wire on it. Barbed wire doors are fun. Cogar ends up going through a door. Cogar, that barbed wire board, ended up getting caught up in the barbed wire a little bit, got tore up a little bit. Cogar does a freaking moonsault through the outside. Then he does, to end this match, this is the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. They had two chairs set up. They had a pane of glass across the chair, like a glass door bridge. Like a glass bridge. Tremont's laying under it. Otis Cogar, big thick guy if you've never seen him, gets a steel chair, holds it against his chest, does a moonsault off the top rope, through the glass, with the chair, onto Matt Tremont. Cool. Yeah. Otis Cogar got the pin out of that one. I gave it 3 3/4. Death matches, when I'm watching them, I have kind of it's not the exact same rating schedule, but I look at weapons, the tubes, the glass, the chairs, etc. I look at that stuff as moves. That's how I rate it. And honestly, 4-star, 4.5 is the most I've ever given a death match. I've never gone above 4-star on a death match. So 3 3/4 was a death match that I really enjoyed. If it was a normal match, it would probably be 4.5-ish. 4 3/4 is how I would rate it. So I'm kind of down a star when it comes to death matches over a normal match. I'm not going to give a death match the same match rating I would give Okada Tanahashi, for instance. So, but anyway, I thought it was really good. Otis Cogar getting the victory, which I kind of seen coming. Kind of thought they would put the titles on both Cogars as part of Vandal 48, which I'm fully expecting Vandal 48 to win the tag titles next. And then we had a mystery person wearing all black with the black bandana covering the face come out and attack Otis Cogar. And then they take the mask off and the hoodie off, and what do you know? Alley Catch has returned to GCW, going after the title. She picked the title up, so that's going to be fun to see what happens going forward, and seeing if her and Effy are on the same page, or if we get some type of 4-way with Effy, Manders, Alley Catch, and Atticus Cogar. I know Brett Lauderdale kind of talked about Matt Tremont and Atticus Cogar and Manders, how their stock was rising. So I think he is high on both of them for getting this company going forward, which I don't mind. I mean, hey, it's a pretty good show. I know on Sunday they had Crime Wave. I will get that show watched this week. I'm guessing at this point it's Tuesday, probably Thursday, Friday-ish. I'll get that review up. So that is GCW Code of the Streets review. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports content.